Hey guys, it's Alex from 7th Hour Films, back again with The Mandalorian. Last time on The Mandalorian, we had the Sin. So, The Mandalorian took the child back to the client. It's odd how no one has any names in this. Then he got a new set of armor from all the Veskar that he got from the job, and got himself a new shiny set of armor. Did I say that twice? I might have said that twice. Oh well. Then he was a bit curious about what was going to happen to the child, and then eventually went back and got the child once he realized whatever the Empire was going to do with it would not be good. Then this caused all the bounty hunters led by Grief Karga to go after him, basically, and try to reclaim the child. And then there was a huge fight, and the other Mandalorians had to help our Mandalorian, and then the Mandalorian and the child escaped. Yeah, that's pretty much that. This is where I say no spoilers in the comments whatsoever. And with that being said, we might as well get right into this episode of The Mandalorian. Here we go. Okay, this is different. Oh, I wonder. Is that baby Mando? Oh! Oh! Yeah, I think that's baby Mando. Huh. Ugh. What are these guys? Huh. Oh boy, oh boy. Sanctuary. That had to be Mandalore, right?
Real backwater scuggle, which means it's perfect for us.
Oh.
Lay low and stretch your legs for a couple of months, you little womp rat. Nobody's gonna find us here.
Okay, so that wasn't Mandalore. Yeah, this is that other planet, okay. I getcha.
Stay right here. You stay. Don't move. You understand?
It's like how I talk to my dog.
Great.
Dude, I'd put him in the carrier. Oh, he doesn't have it. Never mind. I don't know, put him in carbonite or something. I wouldn't trust him to just... Yeah.
What the hell? Come on.
Oh, is that a loft cat?
Not much business in Sorin, so I can't say. She doesn't strike me as a log runner. Well, thank you, sir. I will get that broth to you as soon as possible, and I will throw in a flagon of spotchka, just for good measure. I'll be right back with that.
Oh, she's gone. Is she a bounty hunter?
Yes, sir.
That's funny, she didn't quite understand, like, why he keeps giving money. Dude, this is a nice place, I have to say. She's climbing. Oh! Oh! Do you think that's harder because he has a helmet? It has to be. Although, damn, she's working it. Oh! She really knows what she's doing. Oh.
You want some soup?
Tuh.
Saw most of my action mopping up after Endor. Then when the imps were gone, the politics started. We're peacekeepers. Protecting delegates, suppressing riots, not what I signed up for.
How'd you... Well, looks like this planet's taken.
Interesting. Man, But there's a lot of planet to go around.
We have to ride back with no protection to the middle of nowhere.
Where do you live?
Trying to guilt him.
On a farm.
Oh, is he gonna trade
I'm gonna need one more thing.
lodging for...
Those credits. They're quartering us in the middle of nowhere. Last I checked, that's a pretty square deal for somebody in your position.
Okay.
Worst case scenario, you tune up your blaster. Best case, we're a deterrent. I can't imagine there's anything living in these trees that an ex-shock trooper couldn't handle.
Interesting. Shock trooper. She's... Alright. Great, they got an audience.
Well, looks like they're happy to see us.
Looks like.
They're happy to see him. Yeah. Not a good idea to sneak up on a Mandalorian.
This is my daughter, Winta. We don't get a lot of visitors around here.
Oh, it's a daughter. I thought that was little Mando.
She's not used to
Whoops.
strangers. How long has it been since you've taken that off?
I wasn't much older than they are.
Yeesh.
You haven't shown your face to anyone since you were a kid?
No. I was happy that they took me in. My parents were killed.
Yeah.
The Mandalorian
He was a
took care of
foundling.
me.
I'm sorry.
This is the way.
This is the way. So they do take it off to, you know, eat. Huh. Hey, he's doing that with the window open, too. I'm glad that they said that, because at first I was like, did they just, like, eat like that? But no, we're good.
ATST.
Oh, jeez.
Imperial Walker. What's it doing here?
I don't know.
Yeah, that seems odd.
This is more than I signed up for.
Huh. Yeah. What?
Bad news. Can't live here anymore.
Just like that.
Nice bedside manner.
Think you can do better?
I understand. I do. But there are only 2 of us.
Yeah.
No, there's not. There's at least 20 here.
Yeah. I mean fighters. Be realistic.
We can learn.
Give us a chance.
I've seen that thing take out entire companies of soldiers in a matter of minutes.
Yeah. Are we gonna...
We're not leaving. You cannot fight that thing.
Unless we show them how.
So we're doing that. We're showing the village how to face their enemy.
Who knows how to shoot?
Huh. Here we go. Just her? Huh. Oh boy. I love episodes like these. They're all exactly the same, but they're fun. Yep, you gotta do the thing.
One.
Jeez.
One.
Huh.
2. 3.
Oh, they seem to be doing alright, actually. Oh! Oh! What is this blue stuff, anyway? No, see, it's good to have a helmet. Oh! Well, there's why it's bad to have a helmet. Oh! What is this blue stuff? Uh-oh, that's about to blow.
Come on, I'll cover you.
Oh, oh. Get out of here. Woo! Oh. There it is.
Go. Go!
Do walkers always have... Oh, right, that's the ST. I forgot which one an ATST was, but ugh. I've never seen a scarier looking ATST. Ugh. Oh my gosh, that is so terrifying. Like, red eyes coming through.
More steps.
Uh-oh. They're clever. Oh, God, it's growling, too. Uh-oh. These guys.
What do you have in mind?
Give me the full circle.
Alright.
I'll cover you.
Oh, gosh. It's ballsy. Come on. It's still resisting. What if the kid just does it? Uses the force.
Now or never.
Oh! That was a good shot. Yeah, yes, slip in. And fall. All right, that's a walker down. Oh! All right, good job, guys. Now we just got the Raiders to deal with. They're retreating. They're outie. Yay, we did it.
Was that the plan?
Something like that.
Good enough.
So what happens if you take that thing off? They come after you and kill you?
No.
Tuh.
You just can't ever put it back on again.
Really?
I'm leaving him here.
You sure?
Traveling with me. That's no life for a kid.
Huh.
I did my job. He's safe. Better chance at a life.
But if people come back here, then... Uh-oh.
It would.
It's not the way, though. No. Uh-oh.
I don't belong here.
Aww.
But he does. Go get the kids.
Okay. She got to him. Great. Guess we are gonna have to leave.
Well then, until our paths cross.
Aw. And keep her around.
Cross.
Oh, man. Oh well. We did help them. Really? That's interesting. Directed by Bryce Dallas Howard. Interesting. Okay. Alright. What a good episode, man. And even with, like, kind of a basic plot, like, still, they did it pretty well, actually. Which is good, you know, because you see this kind of plot 1,000 times, you know? And because of that, this is one of those cases where it's like, oh, we've seen it 1,000 times. I can't think of many examples, though. But it happens, you know? This is definitely, you know, an overused plot of, you know, training the village and stuff. The only example I can think of is they did this in season 1 of Merlin. And the only reason I remember that is because Merlin's another show I react to, so that sticks in my head. But that's the thing, is that this is, you know, such a simple plot line, but it does work well. I do like it. So yeah. Let's see. We might as well go into the notes. I can't see this discussion lasting too terribly long, but this was still like a good episode. You know, probably, I don't know if I would say this is my favorite episode so far. I think episode 1 is still a little bit better than this. Episodes 2 and 3, the more I've been thinking about it, I feel like you could have, if you had done some good editing, you could have probably put the two of those episodes together, because not a lot happens in episode 2, And so you could probably, just make it a bit of a longer episode and just stick it with episode 3, honestly. So I don't think I would say that this is my favorite of the 4 that we've seen, but it's definitely really good. I'm happy with it. I really did like it. So yeah. Okay. So the first thing I wrote down was Sorin. Now, originally, I thought this was Mandalore, which was, I will admit, looking back on that, was weird. I thought this was kind of like Mandalore, but that makes no sense, That makes no sense that this would be Mandalore. And I also thought, like, oh, here's this little kid. Oh, that must be, our little Mandalorian. And it's like, no, that's, not only is that not the Mandalorian, that's a girl. And it's like, whoops. So yeah. But no, it's Sorin, a backwater planet without a lot. They have some stuff, but they don't really have like a spaceport or anything like that. They don't have a large industrial sector. They don't have very dense populations. But at the same time, they do know some stuff, which I thought was interesting for such a backwater planet. They do know some things, like about the galaxy and stuff like that. There was that one guy who had been reading up on Mandalorians and stuff. So I thought that was interesting, which honestly makes it really good world building, that even like, even sort of a backwater planet like this can be somewhat knowledgeable in the goings-ons, the galaxy. Let's just work with that. So I thought that was interesting. So it's good world building that this kind of place can exist. It kind of reminds me, it kind of reminds me of the Asoka novel, Star Wars Asoka, which I've been meaning to reread that novel. But that was kind of the same thing. It was sort of a backwater place, although it was a bit more, I don't know. It wasn't quite as backwater as this, which is the interesting thing. When he says all this stuff about how backwater it really is, but it's like, no, they're still a part of, the galaxy and the economy and stuff like that. And it's like, really? That's very interesting. But it's like, it's almost more backwater than even like Tatooine. And Tatooine is like pretty backwater, or Jakku or something like that. But even those, I would assume, have some sort of spaceport, as he put it. Although, what exactly is a spaceport? Does that mean a port in space, or does that mean there's a port city on the planet, and that's where you go, basically? Because that's the thing, is there was a city, Mos Eisley. So yeah, I guess that's the thing, is that even Tatooine has Mos Eisley, whereas Sorin has none of that. So that's pretty crazy, but yeah. So yeah, I also wrote down the introduction of our newest character, Cara. Cara. I guess they didn't even really say her name. The only reason I know her name is because of the subtitles. So yeah, Cara. They said she was a shock trooper for the Imperials, which is interesting. So she used to get into a lot of like, she said like she got into a lot of like big fights and stuff like that.
You want some soup?
Saw most of my action mopping up after Endor.
Okay.
Mostly ex-Imperial warlords. They wanted it fast and quiet. They'd send us in on the dropships.
Oh, okay. So she would go and take out ex-Imperial warlords and stuff. So it was mostly cleaning up after the Battle of Endor, which is interesting. Which, again, I'm pretty sure this is only 5 years after Return of the Jedi. So that is interesting. It's like, it makes you wonder, like, okay, well, how long was she doing that? This is after she was doing that after Endor. I assume that she did that for a few years, and then, like she said, she took an early retirement after things changed. So she was going after mainly, ex-Imperial warlords, like she said, and she went in, her and her teams basically went in when things needed to be taken care of swiftly and quietly, basically, which is pretty interesting. And then once it became like, oh, well, now we're peacekeepers and stuff like that, and it's like, oh, suppressing riots and stuff like that, that's when she had enough, which is interesting. That's interesting. Of course, I can't even say like, oh, well, that's, morally questionable. It's like, our main character's a bounty hunter, so who cares? But yeah, that is interesting, just to have a character that's like, oh yeah, they wanted us to like suppress riots and stuff. Boring, I left. I was happier taking on warlords. So that's cool. I wrote down housing for raids. So initially, they were just going to pay everything they had, which was not enough to stop these raids, at least for the Mandalorian. But then he decided, okay, these guys are farmers. These guys are farmers that live out in the middle of nowhere. They're probably really good housing. And he offered it to Cara as well. So I did like that. The two of them was like, okay, we just have to take care of these raiders, and then, we get nice housing in the middle of nowhere. So I like that. That was interesting. We got a bit more talk about the Mandalorian helmet. Because, last episode we heard a bit, have you ever removed your helmet? No. Has someone ever removed your helmet? No. So it's not that he just can't take it off, whatsoever. They clarify in this episode that's like, okay, he does take off his helmet, but only privately. Only when no one can see him, basically. So he does that to eat. Because I was thinking, it's like, okay, well, maybe you could, like, kind of get food and drink, up behind your mask and stuff. But it's like, but no, it's not that. So I would imagine he could also, wash his hair if he needed to. Because that would drive me insane if I couldn't wash my hair. I wash my hair every day. So I can't imagine. I used to not, actually. Back when I was in like high school, I didn't wash it every day. God, I don't know how I live like that. So maybe he does. I don't know. It depends how often I guess you can get to a shower or just water. But whatever. That's getting off topic. So he does remove it in private so that he can, eat and drink and, and stuff like that, when he needs to take his helmet off. But he only does it privately. And the last time that he took his helmet off in front of another person was when he was a child, basically, which I'd even argue, probably, like, the way he said it, it sounds like he's never, ever since they put the helmet on his head, he's never taken it off in the presence of someone else. So that's interesting. And I do like that shot where it's like, sees them and you see the food, and then you don't see him, you just see, his arms kind of moving, and then he just sets the helmet down, which is interesting. It's the closest thing we've gotten to, seeing him without his helmet on, even though we never saw his face, his Pedro Pascal beautiful face. But anyway, so I did like that, all the talk about the helmet. And I'm glad, none of the kids tried to like remove his helmet or anything. They'd get killed if he did that. And he was also talking to Cara about it. It's like, it's like, oh, well, what happens if you take off your helmet? Do they hunt you down and kill you? And he's like, no, they don't do that. But if I take my helmet off, I can never put it back on. Which is interesting that, because this is the way. This is what Mandalorians do. So if he takes it off in front of another person, he will never be able to put it back on. Which is interesting. I like this a bit. I don't know, like, I guess not exactly like lore about Mandalore, but more like, just giving us a bit more of sort of Mandalorian culture. So I do like that. And it, it's world building, like I said. Like I said about just Sorin in general. It's like, this is all good world building. And then I wrote down the training. Again, what a basic story, Such a basic story. It's like, okay, we're going to train the local village. We're gonna train the villagers to fight, these super armed, super skilled enemies. And it's like, okay, we've seen this a million times, but still worked here. They kept it brief, which I like. They kept the montage brief, And to their credit, they showed how good they were actually doing, Like, they were learning, how to do the thing. They were learning that. They were learning, how to shoot. Although the Widow Widow was really good at shooting, and they never explained that, which is interesting. So yeah, like, they never explained that, like, because when he was like, do any of you know how to shoot? She was the only one that raised her hand, and it's like, why do you know how to shoot? But they never went into that, so that was interesting. And then we had the raid, which was pretty cool, them going in and taking out some of those guys and pissing them off, and then leading the ATST over there, which, again, a damn terrifying ATST. Like, we've seen these things before. They've never been the most threatening of the Imperial walkers. It's generally the AT-ATs, and even then, like, okay, the AT-ATs, like, in The Empire Strikes Back or in Rogue One, like, I think those are the best times, when it really shows the size and the power of the AT-ATs. But we've never really seen, we've seen ATSTs getting taken out by Ewoks. And here, they made it pretty intimidating. Just the fact that, they always show it at, an upward-facing angle. And the fact that, inside, it's like, the inside is glowing red. They have red light inside. And that's kind of creating these, like, it almost looks like, it looks like red eyes, basically. And just see that, coming through the dark forest, like, so that was pretty good. Visually, like, this is the best I've ever seen an ATST visually. So I did like that. And then the last thing I wrote down was, stay. Should the Mandalorian stay here? And it would be good. Like he said, it would be nice, but it's not for him, He's just not, it's almost like he's too far gone. He can't give up his life. But he was willing to let the child stay there and just be like, all right, let's just let the child stay there. He'll have a happy life, basically. He'll actually have a childhood, which the Mandalorian was kind of robbed of, which is why he can't stay there now. So, but then at the end, when it's like, okay, well, they're still on the hunt for the child, so they're both gonna have to go. And I do wish we could have kept Cara. They say it's like, oh, well, maybe until our paths cross again. And it's like, is that going to happen? I hope so. I did like her. It's like, oh, a friend. So yeah, that was pretty much all I wrote down. Really great episode. I really enjoyed this, and a lot of world building in this, which was really solid. And yeah, it was really great. I really, really enjoyed this. I'd probably put this at second favorite so far of the 4 that we've seen. So I'd go, first episode, fourth, then maybe third, and then second. I'd probably put them in that order so far. But yeah, that is pretty much that. Which also, as a side note, if I might say, this episode completes this notebook that I've been using. I've been using this notebook for my reactions for a very, very long time. Like, this notebook starts with Doctor Who Series 3, Episode 0, The Runaway Bride, which you can go find that video on my YouTube channel, and you can see the date on that. That is how long I have been using this notebook. And today I reached the last page, and this was the last. I've used up all the space on this thing. Anyway, just wanted to mention that, just cuz. But yeah, that is pretty much that. I'm excited to get into the next episode and see where we're going. We're halfway through the show now, and I'm very curious as to where we're going to go next time. So with all that being said, I'm Alex from 7th Hour Films, and I will see you guys then. Take care. Alright guys, thanks for watching this video. If you want to watch more of my Mandalorian reactions, you can click on the playlist, you can subscribe if you haven't done that already, and be sure you hit that notification bell. You can support me on Patreon and follow me on social media, links below in the description. See you guys later.